Welcome. Today we're going to be doing a Escape from Tarkov beginner's guide on how to make some money as well as get some experience, get some more loot for a beginner in the early days, since the wipe is going to be in the next 2 weeks or so. Yeah, this strategy is something you could do as a beginner just to make some money and to get some gear in order for you to get some more experience as a PMC in order to get to level 10 and unlock that flea market where the game really changes. I've been playing the game for nearly 3 months now, so I'm not massively experienced with the game, but I have played this game nearly every day for those past 3 months. Yeah, that being said, like, I'm only level 32, and there's still a lot more to learn. This game is mainly knowledge based, so the more knowledge you have, the better you're going to be in the future. But that just comes with experience. So that being said, like, to start off, what I did, this is like one of the strategies that I did. I'm not saying this is the right way to go about it. There's no right or wrong way. This is just one strategy. But the map that everyone usually tells you to do is customs. And the reason they say customs is because most of the early quests are on customs. And that's totally fine. I would suggest going on customs and learning the map so you can do those quests. But as a beginner, not being familiar with Tarkov, I suggest using another map that may be a bit easier in order for you to learn the game a little bit more, get some gear and make some money early on. And I suggest using Shoreline as that map. So this is something I did. I didn't do a whole lot of PMC runs early in the day just because I wasn't really familiar with mouse and keyboard. This is the first game I played on mouse and keyboard, so I had to learn it from scratch. It was slow enough for me to learn, but at the same time, like, I just was not confident taking on those PMCs. So I did a lot of SCAV runs instead of PMCs, so I didn't really level up a PMC like back in the day, like when I first started. So I just did SCAV runs, but we're just going to go through Shoreline, my route that I take. It's fairly safe, and if you have like a map on a second screen, I highly recommend that. You don't really come across many scavs, so if you do see people, they're most likely players. Yeah, most of the time this is very safe. It's somewhat RNG based, you know, as of any game, any map that you do, depends on the loot. But I have made a lot of money doing this. It's very safe. As if you're a scav, you're going in with nothing to lose. So only gaining from that. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. We're going to do offline, but we're going to enable PvP as online. And hopefully we have the same amount of scavs. So let's dive right in. Alright, so we're just loading in right now. So if you're fresh to Tarkov, haven't played the game before, I'll give you some tips along the way. If you have played the game before, know what you're doing. I do apologize that I'm going over these pretty basic tips, but I'm all about helping everyone out. So first thing you want to do, if you're loading in for the first time, you don't know where you are. If you double tap O, your extractions actually come up. And I've got pier boat, tunnel, and rock passage. And most of the time, I'd say like 99% of the time, those extractions are going to be on the opposite side of the map. So if you pop the map up and you see where those extractions are on the map, it should be that pier boat, tunnel, and rock passage is going to be on the opposite sides of the map. Alright, which means you will most likely be on the other side of the map. Okay? So I know where I am right now. You can always look for those cues. So near water, if you look at the map, you know there's water down to the south side. If you look for rock passage, which is my third exfil, it's on the north side of the map. So that's a pretty good indication that I am at the south side of the map. Not always this reason here. So I've got pier boat as one of my extracts, but it has question marks. Those question marks means it's not always active. So you have to go to those extracts and see if they are open. And they usually open by green smoke. Otherwise, you have to go in those extractions and see if the timer starts going down, pretty much. But yeah, we're just going to go over the different route that I take. So we're south on the map. We're just going to go... What we want to do is go north side of the map. And we pretty much just want to go all the way around. So what we're going to do is hit our first main place that we can go to. That can be a little hot, but it's probably safer than most places. And that is the weather station. So may as well hit that first. The thing is with Shoreline as well, like you spawn all over the map, like around the outside, and it really depends on your spawn, like where you hit first. So I suggest if you spawn like road to customs, so to the east side of the map, south side, like around where I am, hit this weather station first. The chance you're going to come up against PMCs, I'd say it's fairly high, especially if you're a PMC loading in. Because I'd say most people spawning this side of the map would hit this first. The good thing about this place is there's some filing cabinets which can spawn pretty good loot, as well as keys, which come in very handy. Not just for money, just for opening doors that are real handy. There's also a safe in there, a PC, and it has some other barter items that spawn there. Also, scavs spawn here as well, so this is going to be like one of your places that you're going to have to look at for scavs. Another thing, if you're a beginner, audio is massive, okay? So you want to be silent as much as possible. So making sure you use caps just to slow walk. You'll notice if we go through bushes, they make a lot of sound. We've got a scav right there. Don't be afraid to take the stealthy approach as well. Alright, again, listen out for those audio cues. If you hear footsteps into your left, sound like they're on wood, there's a player inside. Alright, so there's usually multiple scavs that spawn around here. Just keep an eye out for them. Always feel free to do a little bit of a scout out before you enter this place. Alright, so this is the first place you want to go. In here to the left, you've got your duffel bags. Very underrated. People don't usually say to go for them, but you get your apple juice. Comes in handy for your energy and hydration, as well as some oat flakes. But these things right here, these duffel bags, can be like very underrated. Spawn some real high ticket items. There's also another one in here, and a food provisions spawn there. Go upstairs. We've got our first safe. We've got loot that spawns here. You can see we've got a hard drive. Got a safe and a PC. Also got some money there. Over here we've got our filing cabinets. Okay, so 4 over here and then 8 over there. Be careful looting these, because if you are at a PMC, you're going to be spawning at the start of the game. And if you're the first here, just be very careful. Like you can loot these. Just keep your ears open for any audio cues outside while you're doing this. But like your bartering items, your tape, and trust me, like start of your Tarkov, all these items will be very handy. Especially the tape. Like they're very underrated items because they all add up, as well as nuts and bolts. They can go for like anywhere from 10 to 20k each on the flea market. In terms of traders, not so much. But yeah, if you do get to level 10, those items like definitely add up, and that's kind of where I grinded a lot. Like as soon as I got to the flea market, is getting those items to build up my cash, because there's a lot of them on this map. Another tape there. I've also found labs keycards in here. And those white labs keycards can be found on scavs when you spawn in as a scav as well. So just keep an eye out for them. I usually just try and extract as soon as possible when I get one of them. So that's pretty much this place here. Just keeping out for those audio cues, people running up. They're going to be running up from the side over there, where we came up from, and possibly over here as well. Alright, moving out, making sure there's no other scavs. We've got our weapons case here. And we just got a scope, which is pretty decent. Voodoo is one of my favorite scopes. And we've got another one here. There's a sight. With these scavs, making sure like you're scouting around, making sure that no one else is there before you start looting, because like very early on you'll find that you take out one, you think that's it, and then you usually get shot at from another scav who sees you. Another thing, like with scavs, if it is clear, you're looting, checking their pockets. These are like spawn keys and stuff, so it's very handy to check. Alright, instead of going further into the middle, we could go to the power station. There's not a whole lot of loot there. Scavs do spawn there as well. We're just going to stay around the outside of the map. So, like east, all the way around to the north to the west, that is where we're, that is the route that we take. Just using this tower as a guide of your map. We're going to go around that way. People can, like players do like to go up there just to snipe for a little bit, but in terms of like this open area, no scav spawn here. If you do see someone, it's going to be a player, and they're most likely going to be rotating into the resort, which is in the center of the map, where all the loot is. As for like a beginner, I don't see that there's going to be any point of going into the resort, like unless you want to fight some people. But the only way to make the big bucks is by having those keys, and then unless you find those keys, there's really no point in going in there. Like another strategy you could use, like if you're really confident, you can actually go in there and wait for someone to come out, hope that they're geared, take them out and get their loot. But yeah, the purpose of this this guide is just to give you a rough idea of another strategy you could use just by playing it safe. Again, by looking at the map, you can see like where the scavs spawn, and there's really no one over here. So the next spot we're going to check is the weapon houses, I like to call them. It's pretty much just a house on top of a hill by itself that has 2 weapon crates in it. So it's a good place to check. Again, depending on your spawn, if you spawn this side of the map, you can check that first. There may be like another player that actually comes up to that house, to be wary of that. It's good to note that if you're a scav, you don't spawn at the start of the game. So if you're a PMC, you spawn at the start of a game. Alright, you'll have max time, and then everyone will be fighting to those loot spots the same as you. If you're a scav, you may spawn in, 5 minutes late. It could be halfway through the raid. It's literally random. So if you're a scav, some of these places may have been looted already. So just be mindful of that. So as you can see, the resort there, you're going to hear a lot of gunshots there because everyone loves it there. So this is the house. It is marked on the Shoreline map. As you can see, you've got 2 weapons crates here. Got a big one and a smaller one. Okay, we've got a flashlight in there. Some weapon parts, and we've got a pistol. Over here spawns food as well on this bottom shelf. So the Mela, is that how you say it? Like the pack of food. It's good for a quest that spawns here. If you got that a few times, handy to pick up. Also found it on the pockets of the scav earlier at the weather station. From here, we're going to go slightly towards the resort. But we're going to go down into this valley area, follow this path, and you'll come to the fountain. Again, no scouts spawn around here, so this is should be pretty safe. If you do see people, they are either PMCs or player scavs. So we've got a duffel bag here. Do check these seats as well. I've found Salewers that spawn on here, and other healing items. Alright, so we've got some painkillers, got a fuse, which is going for about 18 to 20k on the flea market because they make the VOG grenades. Very high in demand at the moment. Not sure how they're going to go after the wipe. I'm assuming prices will spike quite a bit. So we're just moving west. So we're at the north side of the map now. We're coming up to Rock Passage, which is just up here. Got this gazebo here, which has another duffel. We're going to check that. Alright, so these stims are pretty handy as well. Make sure we pick them up. Do go for a bit of money. Some of these cigarettes are good bartering, like trading items. The Wilson ones, I think, go for a quest later on. If you want to keep them, go for it. Check these boxes as well. I believe there is a key spawn on here. Not exactly sure where it is because I've actually checked all these boxes several times. Have not found anything, but you never know. Not sure if that is that was patched at some point. So we're just going to move up the hill. So this is where some players can spawn, and we're fairly close to the resort. So I tend to like go towards the cliffside over here and stay away from this path, just because you can get some players going towards the resort. Okay, so this is a resort right here. This is like the closest you're going to get to it on this this route, because we do have to go past Rock Passage. Once you get to this area, you're going to see like a little bunker here, and you're going to look, there's a gazebo here to the left, another rock here, and across from the river over here, you're going to see a sniper scav that can spawn there. Alright, so just be mindful of that. Like I said earlier with the extracts, if I was going to see where they are, Rock Passage has question marks on it. If you're going to go check it out, you can see there's green smoke, which means it is active, and it means I can extract from there. Just so you can get an idea of what this looks like. All you have to do is go all the way back, and then it starts extracting. Alright, so this is Rock Passage. You can spawn here. In terms of loot, there's not a whole lot. You can go inside the bunker. There is a weapon box there that we're going to check out in a sec. But people can spawn like on the back wall on this side of the river, as well as behind the tower. And there's many spawns here, so just be mindful of that, because if they do spawn over that side, they're going to have to cross the river in order to get to the resort. So your interaction with players is most likely going to occur this side of the map in this area. So there's not something else to be mindful of. So we're just going to cross the river here. Scavs do spawn around here as well. There's usually the sniper scav as well as one or two others. So we're just going to go in here to the right, and it's just here. Haven't found anything too major out of here. It's got a suppressor, which is nice. But apart from that, like there's not much. Another thing to note, if you are loading in as a scav, you get random gear. You can spawn with some high ticket items, and if you do, you are really lucky. I would try and get to the extract as soon as possible. You can do this same route because it's pretty safe. But yeah, if you do not spawn with a backpack, then you kind of have to change up your strategy a little bit. Since you are a scav, other scavs won't shoot you unless you shoot them first, or if you shoot around them and they feel that you're hostile. Otherwise, if you get shot at from a scav, it's most likely going to be a player scav. So we're still moving west, using that drone on your map as a key. We're going to keep moving west. You can also use these power lines as well, if you don't know where you're going. And then looking up to your right, there is the Dome 4 Reserve. So that's the northernmost point of your map. I just like to keep this ridge here because I know people like PMCs can go around the outside of the map, around this right side. I found a few go that way. I always like to keep this top part here so I can look both sides. If there's a player moving on the right side, start shooting me, I can quickly go into cover on this side, reposition, go around, go forward, do a bit of flank, and likewise on this side as well. If they come up here with you, then you kind of have to just tackle them head on, otherwise you can take either side. As opposed to me being down here as well, if there is a player up here, they have the high ground, and they're going to have that advantage. If they're down this side, there's really nowhere else for me to go. So that is just a little thing that I kind of learnt. This game is very much based on strategy and knowledge of where people spawn and where items spawn as well. So on your map, we're moving west still. We're going to be northwest now. You'll see like a red SCAV marker, and that's going to be in this tree line right here. So every now and then I'll just like to scout it out because there's usually 2 SCAVs that like to roam around here. It's also going to be marked as a double loot, so there's 2 boxes that you can loot. Now it can be sometimes hard to see, so just take your time here if you want, if you're not that confident. Otherwise, if you are confident, you can pretty much go in there. If you're having trouble with scavs, a tip that I can give you is if they spot you first, they will have their audio cues, okay, and they will yell, okay, and they'll give you like a split second to react to that. And hope that they don't one-tap you in the head. So there's one right here, he hasn't spotted me, there he is now, and the other one has given us the audio cue as well. Alright, so he spotted that one first, he made a sound, and then he was going to shoot me. But since I knew he was there, I saw him first, I was able to react. Alright, so they can shoot you through trees, by the way. So, if they spot you, little tip you can do is actually like reposition, go back. As long as you're like, you lose that line of sight with them, and you go like caps and like stealth mode, they should reset. So unless they're like still looking at that exact line of sight and you like re-peek that, then they'll spot you again. We're just going to try and reset this scav. So I should be far enough away for them to reset. But then again, like even if you do reset, they can still be looking in that same direction that you're kind of rotating to. So this doesn't work all the time, but it is a strategy that you can use. Alright, so this scav did move around to the right, so we're most likely going to come up to him here. Alright, so he is, I think he's reset, he's actually moving towards the rock. There he is, he's reset. So make sure you use these trees as cover as well. Like I said before, scavs like to shoot through trees and bushes, so even if you can't see them, they're most likely going to see you. So using bushes as concealment does not work with scavs. With players, it's going to work, but just to be safe than sorry, if you don't know if it is an AI scav, player scav, or PMC, just use the hard cover. It's going to protect you. Again, we're checking the pockets. ADAR is pretty good early weapon. So nothing in the pockets. Triton rig is going to be like one of your best rigs as a beginner as well. It's got more space there. And I believe you can get off Ragman level 1. We're going to check this other scav. So once those 2 scavs are out, you should be all good. I think there is a chance of there spawning 3. Just be mindful of that. But most of the time it's going to be 2. And since I haven't heard a third one, I'm assuming it's all G. Alright, so now that we're taking them out, going along the fence again, other side of this rock, this is where we're going to see our 2 weapons crates. So we've got one here and one there. And we have a weapon. Another tip, if you do not know how to fold, you can right click, fold, unfold, otherwise middle mouse button, like your mouse wheel, folds and unfolds. So this is something else you can do on the fly. Alright, so they're very handy to check. If you notice that both of them do not have any loot, there's a chance that they've already been looted and someone spawned here. It's another thing to be, you know, cautious of, I guess, that people could be around this area. So going to this area, we see the village here. You see the church on your map, which is just down here to the left. Can't really see it because of the trees. But you can see here that is the church, and this is the village. In terms of loot, there's not a whole lot there. I'll show you some couple of spaces there that you can loot. But this area right here, because there's a few spawns, especially on the west side, people do like to come along this way. I like to go to the left side to get some cover, because I do find players like to go along the fence. Why I don't like going along the fence? It means that if I'm over here and a player sees me, the only way I can go is straight, back, or left. Okay, and they're most likely going to anticipate that. I can't go this way because there's a wall here. Whereas if I'm here, again, like having like my left side and my right side to go to, depending on where the player is. If they're like on my left, I can go to a right, okay, and try and flank, or I can back away. I've got just got that extra rotation that I can do. But yeah, if they're there to the right, then I'm going to anticipate them to go either back or to my left, and then I can kind of go down and rotate around. Now, I'm not saying that my way is the right way. I'm just going based on my experience that has been working. It doesn't always work. There's going to be people out there that mow you down with some insane weapons and aim. So just it's going to happen. Do not be scared about that. All right, so we're going to move down towards the village now until you see like this truck. You're going to see a weapons crate here. I've got M4s, HKs, and some VSSs out of this thing. And I feel like it's hardly been looted by the time I get here. But yeah, most likely going to get weapons parts. Going to be lucky to get a weapon out of there. But yeah, do check it. We're going to move to like where this like little roof is. There's a house just here that has some items. So yeah, using this thing here as your key point. If we go around the left side, got a wooden box here that you can loot. And if we go into here to the right, do not go here to the left because there's nothing there. We have another one here. Now you got some barter items, wrench, screwdriver, bulb. You can all sell to therapist. Move in here now. We've got a weapons one. Got some more weapon parts, another pistol, and we have a ammo/grenade box, which has nothing in it. Alright, moving out. Now it's really up to you which way you want to rotate. You can go back up the way I went, up on top of the hill, and go all the way around, or you can just go in here because you do have some cover. Just be mindful that there are some swampy areas that slow your walking speed down, that I'll show you in a sec. As you can see, the swamp right here, if I go into it, it's significantly going to like slow me down, and I can't jump, sprint, or anything. So just stay as close as you can to these like wooden planks. It's kind of like the footpath. I find not many people come down this way, simply because there's not a whole lot of loot apart from that one house. And scavs don't really spawn around here either. But yeah, it's totally up to you if you want to like do this approach, or if you want to go all the way around. Either is totally fine. Just be mindful if you go around, there could be other players along the fence. Alright, so if we're going to keep moving around, this is kind of like one of the final spots that you could check. And I'm not mad because this is like one of my favorite houses to loot on doing this run. It's this house right here spawns some really good items. So if you open this, we've got the first thing we've got is a jacket. Got some really good keys out of here before. That's not too good, but you know, it all comes down to RNG. We've got the green filters that can fluctuate in price, can be really expensive. Some days they're not, but we've already got 2 of them. We've got a tube. It goes from about 15k, I believe. It's therapist. Maybe it's 14. Into the right here. Got some toothpaste. We've got a toolbox here. We've got some coffee. It goes for a little bit of money now. I think that's about 35k. Yeah, so you want to check on the shelves here, on top of here and down here. I've got fuels, propane tanks out of this, like multiple at the same time. So if you do have a backpack, this comes in. This house right here can be big bang for buck. Good thing about this this spot right here is the ruined house fence extract is literally where that house is. So you just go pretty much in line with that house, and you will have that extract. But there's the ruined house fence, and you need to have it active. So what I usually like to do if I spawn like north side or east side, go all the way around, loot this house, and then I just jump out and reset. If you do not have that extract, you have the dead end extract, which is the next one to the south. Again, we're going to go around the edge of the map. There's a couple of spots in the village here that you can check. Just be mindful of scavs as well as players who like to go along here, because there is a spawn at the back of these houses and people like to go down here. And yeah, there's scavs as well that like to roam around. So the first place we're going to check is actually on this corner right here in this little shack. What we have in here is a jacket. Alright, we've got some bolts. At the moment they're going for about 20k. Again, they could change. And going here to the right, this door always spawns open, so you do not worry about that. Another jacket. Alright, RBMP21, that's for reserve. That's going to be very handy to have, especially early on in the wipe. Checking the table, got some paid here. You can trade that for a Salewa to Therapist level 1. And in here to the right, we've got another toolbox here. Some more bartering items, and believe it or not, this thing right here is actually really expensive. You can go for about 40k. Again, checking all these tables for those loose items. But yeah, jackets are really handy, especially in this map where you can spawn those really good keys. There is another box in here that you can check. Yeah, haven't really found anything too good out of that one, but again, you can go through all these buildings if you really want. There's usually toolboxes in here. What we're going to do is check this other jacket. Just make sure you check this area for scavs. So this main intersection here, they do like to roam around. So this one right here, you'll notice that this is the dead end extract right here, where this this trailer is. You can check that house for supplies as well as this shed. But this main road here, this main area, is going to be very familiar to most people if you play on this map. Because I feel like you either spawn here or you have to come around here at some point. So we're going to go in here. There's a house here with some jackets we're going to loot in a sec, but there's one right here. We've got a jacket right here. So just in this area alone, we've got about 4 or 5 jackets. Another duffel, we've got another toolbox. I don't believe anything spawns in here, but you can always check like these drawers. Another good thing about this spot right here is that you can actually hear people like running to the extract from like the way we came, or people like spawning and running in the other direction. So you can hear them, but be mindful that you are walking on wood, so you may want to crouch and stealth walk. If you do hear someone running to the extract, you can always just peek out and hopefully kill them, or throw your grenade out, or whatever. May as well show you this other sneaky spot that not many people know about. There are spots on this map that have ground stashes. I believe there's one over here. I actually haven't tried to find it yet. But yeah, if we go across the street here, there's more houses in the village. But it's this concrete block right here that you want to look at. You want to jump inside, and you've got your ground stash. So things like this can be found on customers as well. So if you see those round things in the ground, do check them out because they can spawn some pretty good stuff. Alright, and our extract is the tunnel. So that is the southwest side of the map. We're coming up to it right now. If you go into this white house here, I believe there's another jacket. Or two. I think there's a key spawn on the chair. Quickly check these. Again, this all just comes down to luck. RBAM, we've already got 2 reserve keys. That one's pretty decent as well. I believe it's underneath the CPU room. That has some pretty awesome items that can spawn in there. So again, like early on, like if this is your first raid on Shoreline and you're getting these keys, you can literally keep them and then run reserve and make your money there. I believe there is a key spawn on these seats here as well. Just may want to check them. There is a spawn up here to the right as well. So I'll just show you. Again, some players like to come along here, go all the way around. But like if you spawn here, it's most likely you're gonna be looking at this this village here, and you'll know exactly where you are. That's your southwest of the map, and if you look out to the right, you'll see the ocean and then the tunnel extract over there. Just using those key points, like those visual cues as well, you'll soon realize where you are on the map. Again, if you want to double tap O, see where your extracts are. Most likely you're going to have row to customs, which means you're going to be on the opposite side of the map. Alright, so we're going to go towards the extract now. This extract here can be known as a spot for extract campers. I believe they go up here. It's a good sniping spot. You can actually look down at the barge and SCAV Island over there. But the extract for the PMCs is literally where that fire truck thing is. So yeah, people can literally sit here, see people run, and take them out. So if you are running to this extract, just be mindful of this area here that people can camp it. It's like any extract though. Last thing before we extract, if you spawn this side of the map, the only thing you need to do is just do the exact same thing but in the opposite direction. Still hitting those same spots. Fairly simple. We only came across a few scavs. We played pretty safe. And we made some money as well. So pretty simple, pretty easy. That's one way to do it. Not entirely the correct way or the right way. There's many other ways you can do this, but this is a safe way. Especially if you are a beginner and you're struggling to make money and get some items to run PMCs, you can definitely do this run as a scav. But if you go in as a scav and you don't have a backpack, you just have a scav vest, one strategy you can do is actually try and find those scavs because they're not going to shoot you straight away. You can find a scav with a backpack, make sure it's all clear with other scavs, take out that scav, take the backpack, and then, you know, continue looting away. Oh yeah, that raid was 34 minutes, so we went that whole time without seeing many scavs. We saw 4. But yeah, like they didn't really shoot at us either, so it's fairly safe. You can do it with any gun as well. You could probably just do that as a pistol. Get some XP along the way as well, if you're a PMC. And yeah, easy money. So if you did enjoy the content and you like me doing this kind of stuff, I know I'm not that experienced as other people, but I feel like I could relate with a lot of new players a bit more, seeing as I'm, you know, kind of still learning the game. If you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe, comments in the comments below. I can answer all those questions and help you out. But I do stream on Twitch most days of the week, twitch.tv/Schmidt. Come along, ask some questions there if you want. Otherwise, just feel free to comment below, and we can help you out there. But yeah, much love, everyone. Have a good one, and I'll catch you all next time.